only brands survive. Businesses can, come and go. But brands are the cornerstone of building something that stands the test of time. But यार मेरा simple idea ये था कि अगर अगला इमामी, मैरिको, HUL, ब्रिटानिया बनना है ऑनलाइन तो उसका वो बनना ऑनलाइन ही है, ये मेरा क्लियर आइडिया था. And it's going to take a decade. The only real differentiation you will have with these guys is the customer connect, which means data of customers. They're willing to interact with you, engage with you. If there was somebody who we wanted, it was only Virat Kohli, and we would not have gone with anybody else. And that DNA, that mindset again runs in the company. When we met, I think January of 2021, we decided that we want a brand ambassador because the category is going to get cluttered and we really need to stand out and we really need to show the dominance of the brand.
Performance marketing, e-commerce marketing, content marketing. Is this the world that you see yourself in? If you dream to work in these roles at Hindustan Unilever Limited, here's your chance. Apply to AltUni's certificate program in digital marketing with HUL. The participants achieved a return of 12 times the investment with an 80% average salary hike. Hurry up! Apply now to the program from the link in the description. Limited seats available.
सबसे बड़ी लर्निंग मेरी अगर एक पूछोगे ना पोस्टरली से ये थी कि दी माइक्रो इज इन योर कंट्रोल एज अ बिजनेस ओनर. मतलब आप 12, 13, 14, 10 जो डालना है घंटे डाल सकते हो ना. दैट्स वन ऑफ द कॉन्सेप्ट. मनी एंड टाइम, दोस आर टू थिंग्स दैट यू हैव एज वेरिएबल्स. बट व्हाट यू डोंट हैव कंट्रोल ओवर इज द मैक्रो, how the market comes about. I was coming out of this, rocket ship success as a very young entrepreneur. And then I fell right, nosedived actually, because there was no traction there. We built something, we iterated, built a horrible team. And then everything just went wrong in that business because my heart was not there.
At what point did you think that you want to bring something like Rage Coffee in India? What was the need? Why do you think it was needed?
Postergully was a passion project. iDecorama was a absolute pure market opportunity that I went after. I knew that I had to marry both. If I had to build something which really satisfied me, which was something very large, something that changed people, that everybody in the country knew about, it had to be where I can have fun, but at the same time is something that has a big opportunity. Coffee happened, I think, because I was drinking a lot of coffee. I was using a lot of fancy techniques, equipments to brew my coffee. And then I realized that nobody shares that passion with me in India. People were drinking dust and powder and they went like, I am coffee connoisseur and aficionados of coffee. My simple, I think, idea at that time was to disrupt this space. How the disruption would happen was a mix of manufacturing changes, sourcing, ingredients, formulations, the distribution. I spent countless hours in the retailers, with the retailers, right, in India. समझता था क्या कंज्यूमर कौन है कॉफ़ी का, who are drinking it, friends and family में consumers कौन है. So about 1 year I just spent 2018 just understanding the consumer, understanding the trade, again learning, right. Spend more time before starting up than after starting up, because once you start up नलका खुल जाता है पानी पैसे का, वो फिर it will not stop. You can de-risk yourself by planning better. So at that time, all of 2018 was just.
कितना नलका खोला आपने?
सब चला गया था.
रेज खोलने.
I had lost everything. I had plans to start selling in June of 2019, but by December we ran out of money, and January we had to launch. That also was a blessing in disguise actually, because we got those 6 months to break even, to have a good 20, 25,000 customers who started talking about the product, and the product organically started to receive a lot of attention.
So that gives me a segue to what I wanted to know. If you are launching a brand like this in India as an entrepreneur, what are the steps that you need to keep in mind? देखो product तो आपने सोच लिया कि आपको क्या करना है. अभी उसको brand कैसे बनाएं? That's a bigger question, right? That you need to solve for. तो वो कैसे किया आपने फिर?
It's a very tough question to answer because I have all the gyan that I can give you about, consumer pricing, marketing, and how distribution can impact it, and blah blah blah. There are many things that have to be done right. For me, it was very clear that only brands survive. Businesses can, come and go, but brands are the cornerstone of building something that stands the test of time. And in any industry, in even a B2B industry, or obviously in the consumer industry, brands are severely important. So for me, I think it was either building a brand, because I fundamentally believe that if you are not a brand online, you're just a seller that nobody cares about.
Because there are hundreds and thousands of
hundreds and thousands, right? The barriers to entry are very low. And the ability to build a brand online, not everybody gets it, not everybody got it, because we were building the brand on the back of a community, on the back of aspirations. Black and purple coffee was never done. मेरे घर में मैं जब शुरू कर रहा था दिखाता था लोगों को, लोग कॉफी तो बहुत अच्छी है, this is game changing, this that. यार ये ब्लैक एंड पर्पल क्यों है, ये रेड नाम क्यों रख रहे हो, ये क्या कर क्या रहे हो, मतलब इतना अच्छा प्रोडक्ट सब लगा दियो, और ये व्हाट आर यू डूइंग टू द ब्रांड नेम एंड द वेबसाइट. एंड they could not see what I could see, and every time somebody told me, I said, good, you like the product, right? That's okay. Because one clear insight that I had was coffee consumption is being driven by Gen Z and millennials. All right. That's number one. The number two big gap that we identified was that predominantly this category of consumers are looking for a caffeine kick. If you give something to them which is on the, basically bordering great taste as well as a great kick, they would, think of this as a very revolutionary brand, and that would be an outlier in its category.
Right.
So that's what we did, and we kept hammering this message, and we were the best. Very unapologetically, I would say that at the time we started, we upgraded average consumers of coffee. Somebody was spending $100, $150. We asked them to pay 15-20% premium and said, we'll give you a 10 times better experience. And, we today have almost 600,000 Ragers community, that email inbox, right? And their opt-in list, 600,000, not our customers, this community of Ragers that we have. We shipped out almost about 1.5 million units last financial year. And so the the writing is on the wall for us, because with almost 35% repeats, much more than that, but this is what we can record.
But all of this sales was happening through your website itself, and you were not listed in any of...
We did not start selling on Amazon till about June or July. Again, very conscious choice, a very difficult choice to make, because selling online through your website is usually a more expensive affair. बट यार मेरा सिंपल आइडिया ये था कि अगर अगला इमामी, मैरिको, HUL, ब्रिटानिया बनना है ऑनलाइन, तो उसका वो बनना ऑनलाइन ही है, ये मेरा क्लियर आइडिया था, एंड इट्स गोइंग टू टेक अ डेकेड. द थर्ड थिंग वाज दैट द ओनली रियल डिफरेंशिएशन यू विल हैव विद दीज गाइज इज द कस्टमर कनेक्ट, which means data of customers. They're willing to interact with you, engage with you. Because an 18-year-old today who's going to become 28 in the next 10 years, by 2030, this consumer cares extremely about what they consume. They care about who they're buying from, why they're buying, what they're buying. And it's not going to happen automatically. There has to be some brands who lead this journey for this consumer in India. So we wanted to be that consumer also, that brand as well.
Right. So Bharat, again you mentioned that the consumer connect that you are trying to build. देखो consumer connect तो पुरानी companies ने बनाया, right? एक
Not
coffee
really.
brand है.
Not really.
नहीं.
Consumer connect नहीं बनाया उन्होंने. Sorry to interrupt you, but
yeah, no problem.
उन्होंने consumer connect नहीं बनाया. उन्होंने माल डंप किया शेल्फ पे. आपके पास चॉइस नहीं था.
Right.
आपके पास 2 या 3 ऑप्शंस ही थे. इवन इफ यू डिड नॉट लाइक कॉफी,
तो जाके मुझे वहीं उठाना
और
पड़ेगा.
इसलिए नहीं बिकती थी नॉर्थ इंडिया में कॉफी ज्यादा. वो पैलेट डेवलप नहीं हुआ. अभी ऐसे बहुत कैटेगरीज हैं जो डेवलप नहीं हुई बिकॉज इट वॉज नॉट प्रोवाइडेड टू यू. You could not buy that on the shelf. The power of distribution got disrupted because of the internet. It distribution disrupt हुई है primarily.
Absolutely. So when you understood the power of this, you thought that मैं ये जो already distribution network बड़ी companies ने बना कर रखा है उसको मैं तोड़ सकता हूँ इंटरनेट के थ्रू. What was the first step that you took as a startup owner? कितनी बड़ी टीम खड़ी की आपने? इस टाइम भी क्या आप वो पाइप्स काट रहे थे या फिर you were in a better condition by the time it was like 1 year or so?
We were a 10 people team. Interesting story here that ये जो लोग थे ये मेरे साथ पोस्टर गली के थे. Operation guys, admin guys, security guard, machine operators. Throughout these 18 months where we were not generating any money and I was just scouting कि यार कुछ चमक जाए, कुछ हो जाए. I did not let these people go. And I was paying them. There were a few months where the salaries were delayed, but none of them left me. They had more faith कि यार ये बंदा कुछ तो कर लेगा, इसके साथ रहना है हमें. Right? And that to me, one of the biggest differentiations of why we worked initially was we were a very lean team. We had capital efficiency again in the business, and these people were ready to do anything for the company. When the product started to go to the market, in the 3rd month of the business, we started to get investment, calls. We started to see a lot of traction in the way people were responding. We started to receive these essays of fan mails, that feedback, and that product was superior. The product really cut it for them, and then we decided we will not stop.
So tell us a little bit where Reach is right now. How many people are there currently? And वो investment वाली journey कहाँ से शुरू हुई? Leading to that, I will ask you a question. You know what that question will be, and I'm sure a lot of these people would also like to know about it. But yeah, first this.
Yeah, I'll try to make it very short because it's a long journey. But I had fanaticism in my mind कि यार बहुत बड़ा ब्रांड बनाना है और कुछ नहीं बनाना. रोज सुबह उठ के यही होता है, रोज रात को सोने से भी यही होता है. You have to build something that's larger than life, that goes global, that has we want to see Rich Coffee in New York, in Moscow, in Paris, right? That's my end game. So for me, capital becomes very, very critical. I cannot do this bootstrapped. It will take me maybe 20, 30 years. I'm not ready to do that bootstrapped because it will not suffice and satisfy my goals. So 6th month of the business, Ranvijay, who's a good friend of mine from Poster Gully days, he decided to cut a check. And I think that really helped because even at that time, that check really helped us in doing some procurement. And since then, every 6-7 months, we've raised some capital. And that's the journey of us raising capital. We've gotten marquee investor funds like venture capital funds like Reflex Capital, run by entrepreneur Mr. Anil Jain. He bet on me after a 1-hour meeting. In Chennai, I flew in the morning and I went straight for the meeting. And he met me for 15-20 minutes. And they don't invest in consumer brands. But I think after 2 days, that was the biggest check we raised at that time. Many angel investors who I knew from previous time, they invested, they believed in me. Kuch bhi nahi tha, honestly, us time pe we were doing very, very small business, but they saw something. 9 unicorns came in. Then last year, obviously, 6 Sense Venture Fund came in, which is I think one of the best funds in the country for consumer. Recently, obviously, we've raised money from Virat Kohli. I think that was your question.
Yeah. I want to know how meeting Virat Kohli was. Was it like a chanced encounter or there was a planning behind it? Acha, Virat ko to lana hai, because one other thing that you did not mention was it's vegan based, right? The coffee that you are a plant and
yes,
vegan coffee that you are making, and Virat himself being a fitness enthusiast. आपने उनको बोला कैसे मैं powerlifting कर रहा हूँ अभी आजकल?
When somebody like Virat thinks about association. I mean, brands are ready to pay whatever, but he has limited time, very, very, very limited time, in fact. And for him, I think the idea is very simple: to associate with brands that he uses or he can embody as a personality. And we all know the story of a fizz drink that he continues to refuse to advertise. So I think it was not a chance encounter. At our scale and stage, we were determined to get Virat. If there was somebody who we wanted, it was only Virat Kohli, and we would not have gone with anybody else. And that DNA, that mindset again runs in the company. When we met, I think January of 2021, we decided that we want a brand ambassador because the category is going to get cluttered and we really need to stand out and we really need to show the dominance of the brand, the authority that the brand holds. Because we know if you ask 5 customers today, they will tell you that, if there's one coffee that they continue to invest in is Rage. And that we know through data and through internal, obviously, understanding. And we wanted somebody who can, identify with this leadership. We aspire to be leaders in the category. We continue to be leaders in the challenger brands category. So we wanted to obviously have somebody who can truly represent this. There was nobody that crossed our mind, and then we started the 12-month-long journey.
Right. Tell us a little bit about that. When you met him, how did you convince him that, this is something that you should definitely be doing?
Yeah, the first time, I think it was very simple. He wanted to taste the products first. I think that was the first thing, because due to COVID, we could not travel, and, their bubble is very, very strict. Yeah. So I think the first thing was obviously to, for him to like the product and for him to be able to tell his friends and family that, I'm doing this. So that was the first step. After that step took 6 months.
So just making Virat Kohli taste Rage Coffee took 6 months.
More than 6 months. I think it was August or September. And then the quarter after that, between October, November, December, we were trying to figure out if he wants to do it or not. There were some conversations. These are things that take time, and they should take time. I think it was definitely something that was baked properly. By the time we concluded that we both wanted to do this at this valuation on these terms, it took us about this time, and it was due. I think it's needed.
बस में 3 घंटे 4 घंटे आप जाते थे to go for that job that you did not like and you quit in 3 months. Audience को बताओ आप यहाँ आज क्या चला के आए हो?
Doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. Honestly, it doesn't matter. I can do that bus ride again. I love roaming around on the streets, just nobody noticing me or asking me ki kya number hai, kya hua aaj, kya hua. So I think that then I just like to remain, my work should speak for itself, and not, wealth for me is just a byproduct to create wealth for others.
Right. And I think you're doing that also because you're investing heavily also, right? What sort of, decision making happens in your head when you're thinking that, acha, this is the startup that I want to bet on? Because, just like ऐसे आप FD में रख के पैसे grow नहीं कर सकते, वैसे investing में भी bad investments होंगे तो फिर पैसे जाते हैं फिर. It's like bad loans, right? So how do you make that call, and what all are you doing right now to, diversify your portfolio, sir?
Yeah, my simple reasoning of doing investment is that I want to support entrepreneurship, and I want to help entrepreneurs in their journey. Like so many of my mentors and entrepreneurs have helped me. It's just a way to give back. Honestly, पैसा बन जाएगा तो अच्छा है, नहीं बनेगा तो कोई problem नहीं है, because that's the idea. I mean, when we put that money, we know that our mindset is very simple. That's gone. We're not looking for it's not my business. I'm doing it out of passion. My wife keeps telling me, Bharat, कभी-कभी तो ऐसा भी होता है, बोलती है यार yeah, you know, what are you doing, right? Because she's like, ये यहाँ पे bill दे दे, मैंने तू दे दे यार, कह दिया तू ज़्यादा पैसा वहीं डरा दिया कर, you know, and it happens because we go out of our way to do it, you know. It's actually true, and I have a maximalist mindset, right? So when I think about investing, in my mind, I have to do 50 deals in 2 years, 20 deals in 1 year.
How many has it been so far?
We've done about 12.
Wow.
Yeah.
In a year.
In 6 months.
6 months. Okay, so then we are still there. We can reach the target.
Yeah, no, I did deals on and off even before this, but abhi I've become more active, and I also feel, you know, this is a good time to step it up for everybody in the ecosystem.
Bharat, kabhi aisa feel hua, you know, that if you would have gone to, say, for an example, an IM or an ISB or some big B school abroad, life would have been different?
My wife is from ISB.
तो होते हैं घर पे ऐसे touches.
नहीं, कुछ नहीं होता यार. In fact, to me it is immaterial. It does not rank anywhere in my list to see if I'm hiring someone, if I'm working with someone, or if I'm taking money from someone or giving someone money, for example. To me it is completely immaterial. But I have seen that individuals who value education, definitely not degrees, but the idea of learning knowledge, go a very long way. Because in today's competitive world, in any field you are in, it's only your insights about that field that will really drive you forward. And those insights are pure hustle. They're pure knowledge building hustle, and you know, really knowing something that nobody else knows or very few people know about. So I think to me it is immaterial, but I've seen that individuals who go for analytical jobs, it helps them to be very knowledge thirsty. And if that means you want to do an MBA, why not? You know, I mean, I'm totally agnostic about it.
I think Bharat, आप सबसे बड़ी क्लास में बैठे हुए हो right now, which is the life की class.
Yeah.
सबसे बड़ा learning experience वहीं से आता है, and I think that has happened with you also. Yeah. And at AltUni also we believe that, you know, it's about skills and it's not about the degrees, and that's why we offer also certification programs to upskill people for their jobs and careers. And for that, you know, we have had this Conversations Cafe, which we have pegged as the $1 million skill. In your opinion, what is that skill that people should acquire that will be setting them up for the next decade that's coming up?
I think it has to be one's ability to cut through the clutter and focus on the problem. It could be in any field. It could be technology, sales, but individuals who are able to cut through the noise that's around, cut through the clutter of challenges there are for one, and then focus on the problem with high IQ as well as high EQ. I think people who are able to do this are able to, more often than not, perform very well in this class of life.
Superb. Thank you very much, Bharat, for sharing your story with us. It was an excellent story to listen to. I hope that, you know, many Bharats who are listening this right now, maybe present here or maybe looking at it on the YouTube, finds it helpful. जो आपके तरह कोई एक पोस्टर गली चला रहा होगा, उनको भी ऐसा लगेगा कि अच्छा पोस्टर गली से भी रेज कॉफी बन सकती है. All right, so now I'll open this house for the audience.
Hello, sir.
Hi.
I am Mohit Rajani, engineering fresher student. So I have a very basic question regarding a startup. I came across a thought of tea company, consumer company. Like I believe that 90 to 95% of the ideas have been done or have been implemented or have been failed. So what should be my approach towards my startup and make it look like a brand and sell it in good numbers like you did with Rich and like reach to a lot of people across the country? What should be my approach towards this?
I'll tell you, okay. Figure out the market. Figure out if you're providing something that the market does not offer currently. It could be a new delivery technique, a new packaging innovation, a new product innovation, a new flavor innovation. It could be a new market that you go after, cross-border e-commerce. It could be anything. You have to, as an entrepreneur, hustle it out, struggle and understand. कंज्यूमर से बात करो, जो चाय पीते हैं उनसे बात करो, समझो कि क्या पी रहे हैं वो अभी, आप क्या बना रहे हो, उनको पिला के दिखाओ अगर बन सकता है तो, and then ask them if they would pay for something like this and if they would shift from the current consumption habits. That is the first step. Brand बनाना, sell करना, वो सब अभी second या third step है. First step है, do you have a product that is fundamentally differentiated? It could be that you have better pricing. More often than not, it's not possible because of the market conditions in India. But अगर आपके पास better pricing है, better product है, better distribution channel है, something you need to know about the industry of tea or market of tea that nobody else has figured out till date.
Hi sir, I'm Ankit. I'll be joining some B school this year only. So my question is to you is that you did not have any kind of formal training of doing all these things and you went through all the highs and lows and everything, right? So did you feel in your career that you had a certain kind of knowledge gap? And if you felt that, how did you overcome it?
There were many gaps actually. बहुत सारे gaps starting में तो थे. But I think 1 month running a startup is 2 years of being in a B school. So for me that calculation is always there. I've spent now more than a decade doing it. So उसमें क्या है कि how do you fill the gaps? By hiring the right people, by listening to the right people, by surrounding yourself with the right kind of people. For example, if you understand marketing, but if you don't understand sales, और अगर आपको operations का idea नहीं है, खुद करके भी कर सकते हो. That's one step. You will fail. You'll learn. That's a very good way to do it. But if you want to do it quickly, then you have to make others believe in your vision, believe in your dream, and build the team.
Good afternoon. I'm Akshata. So I have completed my MBA recently from IIM Ranchi. So I have this question that I was interested in a startup. So how should I go for it? Should I start with a bootstrapping, or would you suggest that directly make a presentation and go to an investor and ask for investment? And one more follow-up question is that how you actually approach Virat, Kohli and the big personalities to actually invest.
Right. If you ask me, I would always say to bootstrap first. It helps you arrive at a better valuation for yourself, a better terms and conditions for your company when you negotiate with investors. The second question is how to approach the celebrities. It depends on your appetite. If you want to go for a very famous celebrity, it can take years or months. So that's the path that one has to take. Most of them would have agencies and representatives. So you have to go through that arrangement to get their interest. Or you can also go through friends and family. If you know somebody who knows somebody, you can go through that route as well. Hustle है basically, करना पड़ेगा. 100 कॉल करोगे तो हो जाएगा. कहीं ना कहीं तो पहुंच जाओगे.
On that note, thank you very much, Bharat, once again for coming in here. It was pleasure talking to you. Thank you very much, all of you guys who have patiently listened to his story and asked him questions as well. To the audience who's looking at this video right now, if you liked it, do like and subscribe to the channel and ask questions in the comment section. Some of the best comments we'll make sure that we'll send to Bharat to answer.
Performance marketing, e-commerce marketing, content marketing. Is this the world that you see yourself in? If you dream to work in these roles at Hindustan Unilever Limited, here's your chance. Apply to AltUni's certificate program in digital marketing with HUL. The participants achieved a return of 12 times the investment with an 80% average salary hike. Hurry up! Apply now to the program from the link in the description. Limited seats available.